On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, see how IU got a little festive on Valentine's Day.
And we celebrate Black History Month with a special guest from the Neal Marshall Black Culture Center Library. What's Up Weekly starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. I'm Ashton Hackman.
And I'm Cali Lichter.
IU celebrated Valentine's Day this year by bringing students back to their childhood. The undergraduate programs office at the Neal School holds seasonal events throughout the school year in an effort to get students involved. For Valentine's Day, they decided to celebrate in a way that would make students nostalgic with candygrams. Students were able to take a pre-made candygram from the table or make their own using supplies provided. There were pixie sticks, snap bracelets, curly straws, and more for students to choose from.
We've had some international students who didn't celebrate Valentine's Day like this, and so it's a cool way for them to learn about how we celebrated Valentine's Day when we were kids. And so it's a really cool opportunity to kind of exchange that.
Now we are so excited to present a brand new segment called the Bloomington Brief. The brief is going to be our way to tell you everything that is going down right here in Bloomington with a bit of a twist.
That's right. Let's welcome to the show Austin Rubin and Simon Mayer. Guys, over to you.
Thanks, Ashton and Cali. We are so excited to be here. I'm Austin Rubin.
And I'm Simon Mayer.
And this is what's down this week. Omicron rates on campus are dropping with a reported 69 total cases this week, and many Hoosiers are celebrating. The only issue is that they're celebrating by developing high fevers.
Monroe County issued a travel advisory last Friday due to severe winter weather, which would have been really effective had anyone made plans to travel to Monroe County.
In an effort to promote sustainability, IU has hired a mail carrier to peddle packages on a bike, while smaller mail will be delivered via Lime scooter.
On January 27, 1972, Indiana University student Dave Hoffman set the world record for longest shower ever taken, spending a whopping 174 hours in a dorm shower. But if you think that's impressive, just wait until you hear how long some of these boys go without taking a shower. And that's this week Briefed. Cali, back to you.
Thanks, Simon and Austin. We're about halfway through Black History Month, and IU has plenty more events planned in celebration. The Neal Marshall Black Culture Center is serving as the host for many of the events being held for Black History Month. The center said that its events this year are paying tribute to the Black church and the Black church experience. The center will host a Black History and Culture Knowledge Trivia Contest tonight at 6:30 and a screening of the film Amazing Grace on February 22nd. More information about how the center is paying homage to Black history can be found at diversity.iu.edu. And continuing with Black History Month, joining us in studio is Takir Abdullah, a PhD student in the Department of African American and African Dysphoria Studies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So first off, what does Black History Month mean to you personally?
I would say that Black History Month, I really appreciate the legacy that Dr. Carter G. Woodson began by starting this in the 1920s. You know what I mean? Because Black voices and their achievements were, largely peripheralized and in some ways very much occluded from the mainstream curriculum. So I do appreciate it in that way. But for me, Black History Month is something that should be celebrated, but I feel that Black history is something that is lived and created 365, and that Black history is not just Black history; it's American history as well as world history, because we have diasporic populations of African descent all over the world.
So I know that the Neal Marshall Cultural Center has been doing events this whole entire month, and there's more events to come. So can you tell me a little bit about what they've been doing over there?
I have to say that I can't really speak authoritatively on the Black Culture Center, as I work for the Neal Marshall Black Culture Center Library. So they host their own events and we host our own, but there is some type of crossover. We do co-host some events. And but some of the things they've been doing, and they started theirs late January, and then that'll continue throughout this month. But some of the events they've been doing is, among many, they began with the a Black Gospel event where Dr. Raymond Wise gave a presentation on the context of Black Gospel, and that was followed by a live performance of gospel music. Other events would be, they had a book discussion of the text, The Secret Lives of Black Ladies. Another important, this mess is getting to me. Another important event, especially for me, was the talk and lecture they gave from Dr. Cameron Carter from the Religious Studies Department, and it was on the theory of religion and the importance of its linkage to the Black church. And just today, they had a meet and greet with the Asian Culture Center. Like, it was like an informal discussion with all the students and things like that. And that was food, so that's always great. And then also the IU Health was there. IU Health was there, and then they were giving free HIV tests. So that's kind of what's been going on over there.
You mentioned earlier that you feel that Black history shouldn't just be celebrated during the month of February, but all year long. What events does the Neal Marshall Center also put on, not just in the month of February?
So it can be very eclectic. Like, generally there's informal discussions that involve food. There's often book discussions. There's scholars invited from all over who provide lectures on various different topics. They also have self-care days and workshops. There are, let's see. They also have Black businesses coming in who sell, of course, commodities that are from Black businesses, but they also provide workshops on those products and things like that. So that was just a small, amount of what they generally do. But it's something all the time. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So you mentioned you work in the library portion, correct? What's the most important part for you working there?
I would say just really interacting with the students and making sure it's like a hospitable and communal environment. Also just nice to be surrounded by all that, Black history and literature. You know what I mean? So it's pretty fulfilling because to me, it's part of a larger collective of what it means to be, Black, or part of the Black aesthetic, and then the history of the African American Studies Department, or African AAADS, African American and African Diaspora Studies Department here at IU, because a lot of that came through Dr. Herman C. Hudson, who I'm actually doing my research on, and it's going to focus on his founding of the department, along with its intersection of the Black student movement during the late 1960s, but also highlighting how the Neal Marshall Black Culture Center and the African American Arts Institute are important sites of knowledge and knowledge production in the community. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then what are some of the ways that students can get involved with your center?
I wouldn't it would be more of a question of getting involved with the Black Culture Center, as the library functions just like just about any other library, but it just has those cultural components and those events that it hosts from time to time. But yeah, so I would say they can get more involved with the Neal Marshall Black Culture Center, because they're always looking for, people who have some type of skill set to bring to the center. And like today, they had students, like I was talking about the meet and greet with the Asian Culture Center. They had Black students who were affiliated with the Neal Marshall, as well as Black students from outside, come in and, have exchanges with those students. But it's important to mention also that although it's the Black Culture Center, it's a space that provides a supportive and communal environment to all those who enter. You know what I mean? So it's black because of the like historical like linkage to how it was founded and all those different things and what it celebrates. You know what I mean? And it's important to mention that there's a dichotomy in terms of like, you know, we label it the Black Culture Center, but IU, you know what I mean, is a white institution predominantly. And so whiteness functions sort of like as the norm, as the standard, so it's invisible, it's not highlighted, so you don't have to say, but you know, because of the epistemological currents that translated into these different institutions, you know, it's like a institutional like artifact. And so these different things don't have to be said, so it's already there, but with like black people having to make those interventions, it was important for them to label, you know what I mean, themselves in this way and articulate themselves from that experience, and to make it known, because blackness for so long was considered to be something negative, anti-intellectual, so on and so forth.
And I guess just a final question. What is one thing you want students to know about the library portion of the center?
That it's a loving and welcoming environment, and that we have great spaces for people to come in there. It's always quiet. You can rent out spaces in there if you have like group study or you have a lecture that's going to be given there. Because we hold also certain lectures. We hold workshops in there on databases and things like that, and research for students. So I guess that's about it as far as I can think of.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for speaking with us.
No problem. Thank y'all for having me.
And we'll be right back with this week's trending topics.
Welcome back. After a 6-week whirlwind romance, Ye West and Julia Fox have broken up.
In a now deleted Instagram story, Fox describes herself as a #1 hustler. She says, "I came up, y'all, LOL, and not only that, but Kanye and I are on good terms. I have love for him, but I wasn't in love with the man. What do you guys think I am, 12 years old?" Fox also denied that she was crying in paparazzi photos. The breakup comes at a time when Ye is spamming Instagram with posts about ex-wife Kim K and new beau Pete Davidson. His posts contain everything from friend breaking up with rapper Kid Cudi to comparing Pete and him to Avengers Civil War. The rapper even called on Saturday Night Live writer and talent Michael Che to call out Davidson, to which Che memed on, of course.
Clean up on aisle 2 because this divorce is getting just a little bit messy.
Like every year, the Super Bowl commercials were all the talk on social media on Sunday.
Companies spend millions of dollars to get their creative ads on the big screen. Here are some of the most talked about commercials this year. Lindsay Lohan made an appearance in the Planet Fitness commercial, with everyone in the ad asking, "What's gotten into Lindsay?" Pete Davidson was tackled in the Hellmann's ad, which was focusing on their push to tackle food waste. Other ads, which are annual favorites, were the Budweiser ad, reminding viewers that better days are ahead. The streaming service Peacock have older generations giving a flashback to the Bel Air days, with Will Smith making an appearance in that as well.
Sometimes the Super Bowl ads are just so good that it's all you can talk about during the actual game.
It may not be the Summer Olympic Games that are going on right now, but U.S. gymnast Simone Viles is still in the spotlight.
The 4-time gold medalist is engaged to Texas defensive back Jonathan Owens. Viles posted the announcement on Twitter Tuesday, showing off the bling, and even included a heartwarming tweet to her fiancé. The two have been a couple since 2020.
Such fantastic news. So happy for Simone, especially after all she went through during the last Olympics. And that's what's up this week. Tune in next week for more local and entertainment news.
Be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News.
For What's Up Weekly, I'm Ashton Hackman.
And I'm Cali Lichter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.